Good morning, Phoenix. How are you today? So, Blair Ballin here with Ballin Real Estate, and it's a beautiful Friday. And today, wanted to talk about down payments. So many myths out there about down payments, what people need. Back in the 70s, 80s, and even parts of the 90s, people really just thought that the only down payment they could have on a home was 20%. And boy, have times changed. So, today, let's talk about that, and let's see how long my hand and a hand can actually hold this phone without shaking too much. So, down payments on a home. Basically, any amount. It could be 0 to 100%. 100% would obviously be an all cash purchase. 0 is usually more common for veterans who get, zero down loans, VA loans, basically, as they're called. And then sometimes there's USDA loans, which are in more like rural type areas. Here in the Phoenix area, there are different areas which aren't exactly what we would call rural, but maybe parts of Buckeye and things like that. So outside of that, generally speaking, there's always exceptions. The lowest down payment that there is usually 3.5%. That's on what's called an FHA loan, which is basically designed for first-time buyers. So a lot of people are thinking out there when they're renting an apartment, the average price of a home is 300 grand, that they're going to need 60 grand to put down, or 50 grand, or whatever number it is. And you could certainly do that, but it's not required. What's required, usually credit dependent, and obviously you have to qualify for the loan, is going to be right around 3.5%. There are sometimes programs that are lower, but for the most part, let's just figure 3.5%. FHA loan designed for first-time buyers, but does not need to be a first-time buyer that gets that loan. So what that means to you is, okay, so $300,000 home, let's say 3.5% down, maybe that's 10 or 11 grand or so. Whether you do or don't have that money, don't think that you have to come up with that money, because there are ways around that. One of the most popular ways is down payment assistance. Absolutely phenomenal products that are out there. Again, you have to qualify, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. And I'm going to take a seat here so I don't keep walking around and maybe have a little bit more shaking with the phone here. Actually, I'm going to sit over here so you guys get to see two of me. Very popular picture. There we go. So, down payment assistance. Again, have to qualify credit and income-wise, but what happens is there's entities out there that will gift you the money. Each program is different, and we need to talk about what the requirements are on each and the potential penalties if you sell the home sooner than later. But generally speaking, there is a program out there, one specifically, where you can get this down payment assistance, and it truly is a gift. That's awesome. So if at this point you're renting or you're in another home and you're wondering how you can get into, your next home, your first home, whatever the case may be, for as little down as possible, down payment assistance is phenomenal. Like, it's a gift. You get this money to buy a home and you don't need to pay it back. Like, that's incredible. So if you're renting an apartment, renting a house, whatever it is, and you're looking to buy a home, but what's holding you back is down payment, there's ways to get into a home so you don't have to come up with the money. Now, what I will say is there's a lot of miscommunication out there. It's not a zero down program. It's zero out of your pocket, which is even better. The 3.5% down is still what's used, but the 3.5% is being gifted to you. So, as many people like to call this guy behind me, Blair Jr., and Blair here, that's awesome. That's one of the reasons why I got in the business about 20 years ago. Down payment assistance is a phenomenal product and program to look at. So, next after that, you can put down whatever you like, whether it's 5%, 10%, 20%. Many people who do 20% down or more like to do that because it avoids what's called private mortgage insurance. Another payment on top of your actual payment that sometimes can have, $100, $200 a month extra to your payment. But until you get 20% down up front, that's what's required. And it's just part of it. I personally would rather be in a home that I own and not rent, and have that mortgage insurance and not have to come up with the 20% down. Because if the average price point of a home is 300 grand and I need to come up with 60 grand, whether I have it or I don't, I'd rather just use other people's money, avoid coming up with my own money, and then still deal with the private mortgage insurance. So outside of that, that's really all that there is about down payment. Like I mentioned earlier with veterans, you can get into a home for zero down, which is awesome. That truly is a zero down product. Really the best one that I know of out there. Again, USDA is the other one. And then outside of that, like I said, FHA is 3.5% down. And then we have conventional, which is, I do believe that there are products, and it's always changing, as low as 3%, but generally speaking 5%. And if you're an investor, usually it's 10% down, sometimes maybe a little bit lower. You can definitely do 20% down, but you don't always have to go that high. So those are the down payment options. It's pretty simple. And again, everything is very credit dependent, credit score dependent. And then obviously you also have, debt to income ratios and things like that. So the best way to talk about this is, as I mentioned in yesterday's video about the gentleman that I spoke with that was interested in buying a property. And for those of you, thank you for watching yesterday. Thank you for all the feedback and comments. They were awesome. Today, whatever questions you have, reach out to me. Leave a message here. Send me a message. Text me. My number is 480-233-6433. If you want to stop by and grab a picture with this dude, please do. But yeah, reach out to me. We can put you in touch with a lender. Just have a chat, no cost, no obligation, to find out what your situation might require you to do, or might, what's best for you in that situation. Down payment assistance, like I've said a couple times, really, really fabulous option. Doesn't fit everyone, but we do need to discuss all the options to see what's best for you. So send me a message, reach out. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to hearing from you, and have an awesome day.